$8:57. Good morning, people. Anyone that's here. I see one viewer. Good morning, good morning. Okay. We got 2 minutes before we officially start here. Just calling a friend of mine here. Oh God. I'm sleepy. Hello, Julius. Alright. You're live right now. You're on stream. Alright. Cool. And then we have to do someone has to do this again at I don't even know what time today. What time?
We have multiple today?
Yeah, we have to do it again today at 3. The stream's gonna start in a minute. I'm gonna share the stream link with people.
The only one watching. Yeah.
We got one person on right now.
Yeah, I'm the one.
You're the one person. Bro, thanks for being a lifetime fan, Julius. Man.
I'm not in the Discord, so.
In the ECGC Discord, you're not?
No. I can, but I just haven't.
It's like super important though. We got another viewer in here. Welcome. We're gonna start in a couple minutes. Wait for maybe another person to show up, and if they don't, then whatever. We'll go ahead and get started.
Can Solomon make the...
I don't know. I think he said that there's a meeting that he was looking forward to that he forgot started this early.
Okay.
Ow. I got my second dose yesterday for the vaccine. My arm's killing me. Oh my God, it hurts so much. Okay. Well, I guess the stream is officially started. Here, I can just share my screen so you see what I'm gonna pull up. We're gonna do something a bit different today. We are, instead of just going over the game this time, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys a peek at the documents we used while we were developing this game, just to see what our thought process was. So for those of you who hadn't made a video game before, this may be very beneficial to you because we made a game as awesome as Moonwarden using the ways that we did, and we're about to show you what we did. Um, First though, I'm gonna show you the game, and then after I show you the game, then we'll go ahead and look at the documents, like the mind maps and stuff, bug sheets, stuff like that. Secret stuff behind the scenes. Very nice.
Gotta have it on max volume.
Look, Julius, is max volume, you said? They're trying to make people deaf? Wait a minute, speaking of deaf. Okay, yeah. Oh! So yeah, this is Moonwarden. This is the title screen. Moonwarden is an action game that me, Julius, and Solomon made in 2 weeks for SGD at Wake Tech. Simulation and game development. I was, I guess, the leader. I don't know. I had the vision in my head, and I kept everyone on track. Julius here did cool stuff. You want to talk about that?
Yes. So for this game, I started on and prioritized the level design, and that started from the very concept of the game when we were still deciding what type of game we were gonna make, and Sean was coming up with ideas, and we came up with this this game where you have this ball and he traverses throughout a level, and then that was really how the idea started. That's kind of all we had was really the movement mechanic, which was the click to click in the direction you want to go. That's what we started with.
Yeah.
And so after I was tasked with designing the levels, we brainstormed a little bit, and we eventually started out with a neon design. We were going to go with neon basic shapes, and we were going to have neon colors to make the game. And eventually that evolved into when I decided to take more of a head on it, that evolved into a game with not really just straight and basic neon colors, but a vivid game, one that's very it's like sort of bright and the colors really pop and stuff. And so in order to do that, I took inspiration from Ori, the name Ori. So that was like the first game that popped into my head when it came to really cool games with vivid colors. And so when we started on the first level, all I had was I had the level mapped out. I created a Google drawing, and I had the level mapped out. And so I was going into Unity to make it, and we hadn't really discussed scale yet at that point. And so when I made that level, not only did it take some time because it was so big, but we ended up not going with it at all because it didn't really provide a nice flow. So it wasn't very
it wasn't hard either.
it also wasn't
easy.
Yeah. It was pretty easy, and it didn't it wasn't really that much of an enclosed space. Like, it was very easy for the player to get lost or to fly off into space. And so after I made that, we decided that was the direction we wanted to go. And so I went back to the drawing board, and I decided if I'm going to make this, it's going to be a closed arena. And so in order to do that, I was like, well, how do I make a closed arena and like keep it sort of interesting? And so what I did, since we know we wanted 3 levels, I decided to just take the I wanted to make the shape of the levels based off of just a basic shape. So in the first level, it's actually, as you see here, the first level is a square, so it just has 2 trees on the side as the bordering, and a platform on the bottom, and a cloud, like a thick cloud skybox on the top. And that's what makes up the first level. And for the second one, since the first level was 4 sides, I decided to just up this one more time, make it a little bit bigger, and go with 5 sides. So this is a pentagon. And since I wanted to just keep the theme going, since the first one was a forest, and I wanted progression throughout the levels, I made it. I wanted to decay it a little bit, and so what I did was at first it started with me taking out a couple trees, and I looked through the assets a little bit more and saw that we had some more sort of decayed, a little bit trees with a lot less leaves, and so that that made that had me thinking of this theme, and so I decided to go with that for this one. And for the last level, what I did was I decided to keep the theme going, and I wanted to decay it even more, and I wanted to use even more new assets. And so I went on to make the more sort of swamp, really really decayed, like everything is really bad level. And so that's how I got the idea for all these levels.
Yeah, see, Julius is here as a genius, and we actually have some of the documents we used here. I was playing through, you might have saw the decaying, but here, let me actually show you what was going on in our heads when we were making this. So, for those of you who haven't made a video game, this may be very beneficial to you. Of course, not everyone makes them the same, but this is the way we went about it. So the first thing we did, the first day of the project, was we pulled up a paint document and we just started drawing. And you're actually able to see some of the initial ideas we had to begin with. You can't see my cursor right now, which is a shame. Hold on, I can actually draw just to yeah, here, I'll draw on it just so I could show you guys. Because you can't see my cursor, I have that turned off for the trailer. Let me make it, green. Okay. Yeah, secret documentation, Josh. So, I think one of the first things we did was like, okay, let's decide on how we want the player to move. And this is what we kind of did up here. You can't see it because we scribbled it out, because after that we stopped using the idea. But what we were going to do is we were going to make the player use the numpad to control the player, and then each key, other than 5, would dictate what direction they kind of moved in. I think they'd be stuck in the middle of the screen, and they shoot something out of them, and then that's what dictates like what gets shot or like how they move. I forgot. But originally the player was going to be this sphere, and then after that we decided, well, what if we made, so I think Solomon thought of an old Flash game, Ninja Painter or something, or as like some other game where you like switch surfaces and stuff, and it was like, well, what if we made it so that the player can stick to surfaces? And like, okay, how would they control it? Like, oh, I said my direction click, and then that's where this section came up right here. So we had a ball of light with trails, and then the score ticks down, and that was always there too. I just thought like some way to make it urgent. We said, well, let's make some score tick down constantly. Thank you for sharing that with me, Julius. And then, yeah, so this was what represented the player here, this little star. And then we had the arrow pointing in the direction, and these 6-point stars were enemies. The player would click in the direction, they move to the other side of the wall, and then we were gonna make it so the level would scroll like you can see up here, and that some of the levels would be multi-dimensional on the bottom of the screen here. See right here. So we were gonna have like a goal, a green goal, and they were gonna have a level that they would have to maneuver through. And here, some of the levels would be like multi-dimensional and be like a some of the levels would be multi-dimensional like a cube, and you could, go left and right, or you could turn the camera angle and then go to the other side. So instead of going this way, you could turn it by pressing like Z or something, and then you would be able to go this way instead, because the camera would be looking here, and you can actually see that with the balls. These balls right here. These represented the camera. And after you turn it, it would change to another side of the cube, and then that's how you would move. But later on, Julius's redesign, though, we kind of scrapped that idea. Here's one of the documents he designed up. This is the redesign for level 1. Instead of having a long level that you maneuver through and the camera follows you all the way through, like, well, it does, but just having like a longer level that's less linear, we were going to have enemy spawners, or not even, just have it kind of like a simple arena type, and then that would keep the enemies kind of like compact and still kind of provide a challenge. Because like Julia said earlier, the first level designs that we had, it wasn't too hard. All the player had to do was see the enemy before the enemy saw them, and then click at them, and then they would kill them almost every time. At least in here, the player might have a chance of killing an enemy, but also triggering another one, and then that just sets off the chain of events where it's like, oh, okay, now everything's on me. This is actually kind of a challenge. So that's what we thought of. These donuts were the enemy placement ideas here, and I think these are, what were the diamonds, Julius? Were these mines, or, what were
The
they?
diamonds were mines, I believe. Yes.
Okay, yeah. We changed it a little bit after this, but this is kind of what we thought of after. So lots of drawing on our dev team here. It helps a lot. So that's how we decided the level design. So we decided what the game was, the setting, points, and then we decided how the player would move, and then, oh yeah, and here's this. This is what we thought of when we were trying to change how the levels worked. We wanted the player to focus on killing enemies and trying to live, rather than trying to leave the level in a certain amount of time, which is why we made it so some enemies give you power back on kill, and why we made the level look like an arena and didn't have a goal until you actually killed stuff. So it's more like an action game than a puzzle game, because that's what it ultimately came down to, is that if it was really long and the player had to reach a goal in a certain amount of time, it was like you're racing. It was a racing puzzle game, and we didn't want that. It was supposed to be an action game. So we made them focus on enemies. So that's this document here. Here I have another one. Let's see. What else do we got? We have here's a brainstorm document that we had. I'm actually eager to see what we still have on this. Oh, I didn't know you could change the color of the screen. Okay, I hope you guys like orange. Okay, here we go. So this was, I think this was Solomon's idea. He's the one who came up with this, and then we just started typing our ideas in it. It's a bit long, but, I mean, Moonwarden. We didn't know what the title was even at the time, but we did know that the player's gonna be like a ball of light, neon colors, and then there'd be VFX when the player sticks, and it moves in a straight line, but then it would have kind of like this drop off which is right here. We were gonna make it so the player would move in a straight line initially, but then, yeah, here, we were gonna make it so the player would go in a straight line initially, but after a few seconds, the gravity would kick in. But we just made it so gravity was in all the time. This is a bit easier on us, and it worked out. Uh, but they would use a rigid body force towards the direction of a player click, and then once they hit a wall, they stick. And then otherwise, physicals will handle bouncing and gravity until a player hits stickable ground. So after 2 seconds, gravity kicks in, the player leaves a trail of light, the player's made out of cool colors, and then we said the enemies would be hot colors, and then one enemy's a turret that shoots projectiles up and down, one is an enemy that shoots projectiles but shoots homing missiles in the same angle. There'd be spiky walls, which we didn't put in, which I wish we did. That's actually not a bad idea. We could have done something with that. Yeah, a mine, and then the floating enemy that needs to be killed. We also came up with game mechanic. You focus on enemies versus trying to live, or trying to leave. And to get to the end of the level, you need to beat it before the timer, and the timer is very short, and you need to defeat the enemies to get more time. So the time's not so much time as it is just your health. The timer is referencing the power bar. I think that's what we changed it into after. And then power is drawn from the player if they get hit from an enemy projectile. And then of course you get it back if you kill something important. Objectives to get to the end. And the environment, we thought we were going to be like neon, like, kind of like Tron. If you don't know what Tron is, this is what Tron looks like. I'm going to show you. So it's going to kind of look like this. Like, this is the old 80s Tron. But you can see everything's like neon. Like it's either black or it's neon blue or orange. Clue here. Yeah, so everything is going to be neon. Apparently Fortnite has Tron in it, which is a real shame. They massacred my boy. But yeah, Daft Punk. Look, there's you guys. Alright, here. No, you can't look at this. But that's what it was going to look like. And we did not go with that. We went with Ori. Like Julia said, we were like, well, what if we made it like magical and ethereal and stuff? Like, what if we used like a forest instead? And we're like, oh, okay. What kind of forest? And like Julius is like, oh, what about Ori and the Blind Forest that has the word forest in it or something? And like, yeah, yeah. And then that's where we got the idea for like blues and yellows and stuff like that. Like the enemies kind of look like fireflies even in this nice looking forest environment. And that's how we thought of that. And it was, I mean, the rest is history. That's how we made the game. What else we got? We got the poster here that I could show you. This is what Julius made. This was strictly for the this is strictly for the project. We needed to make a poster with our logo and ESRB rating, and we just had to make a poster for the game. And Julius delivered. You want to explain your thought process on that, Julius? I have it pulled up right here.
Yes. So for the poster, this was after we had already finished most of the game, and we were in the bug testing stage. So I went ahead and made a poster. And so my thoughts for this were I wanted to show the sort of like hint or the 3 environments in the game, which is the forest level, which is the first one. It has more blue in that level. And then on the second level, you have the more decayed forest, which is green. And then in the final level, you have the super decayed, sort of swampy environment, which is red. And so what I had was after I set that up in the poster, I had the player, which is the sort of purple glowing ball you see. So I wanted to have it coming down from so it looked like it's coming from the moon a little bit, because it is an apparition from the moon. So I wanted that to come down, but I also wanted it to sort of be show motion or a little bit of hit at gameplay a little bit. So I wanted the red orbs we had in the game sort of coming up as if it was attacking each other, showing that they were enemies. And I wanted those coming up from like the ground.
Yeah, see, look, the bad guys come from the bad side almost. Good guy comes from the good side, and it even looks like he's coming out of the moon, which is great. That's exactly what we were going for too, like kind of like a good versus evil type of thing. And then they meet in the middle here in the green moon zone, and they're kind of connected and stuff. Great, great stuff. There's a poster, and here I'm gonna print it out on my Hewlett Packard. I don't have that in here. My family has an old printer, it barely works. I have to plug it in just to get it to work. Okay, here, let's go ahead and play through the game. You can kind of see what we were talking about with our gameplay changes here. Yeah, see? Alright, so here's kind of the arena we went with before. The nice Ori square-shaped arena. Originally, and I wish I had built this out. I'd be able to show you. I think I'm allowed to pull up Unity. Are we? I mean, this is our stream. Should we just pull up Unity? We still have the test level in there.
Yeah, you can. But it's gonna take a while, so.
I think like a couple minutes, maybe later. Here, let's just go ahead and play through the game in its entirety a few times.
Maybe we could do it at the end of the stream.
Oh yeah, Unity reveal, bet. I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, they can see the test level. But here, there's level 2. Here's level 3 here. We got more sides than before. We got 6 sides. We started with 4 sides and 5 sides and 6 sides. Progression through visuals, as I've mentioned in the past.
Same as the platforms as well. You start with 4 platforms, and eventually, once you get used to mechanics, you're able to handle more platforms, and we're able to put more enemies on those as well.
Yeah. See here? Oh, I actually killed that guy through the wall like a boss, because I'm awesome. It's a feature. Look, you see the particles, the VFX that we talked about that come off the player once they stick? Not only just, oh man, not just like moon dust, but like look, light too. Bing, boom. Oh my god, okay, we're gonna try again. This is not easy. This is hard. Here, so we got, I think, 5 enemies, 6 enemies. There we go. 6 out of 6. Lots of power left, and then here's the end screen right here. This is what happens when you win the game. Game over. With your duty fulfilled, a due day begins. As the sun rises, you disappear in a cloud of moon dust, bound to return by the moon's side. Thanks for playing. And then it gives you your final score. And then from here, you can quit or go to the main menu. We're gonna go to the main menu. So that's what the game looks like after all of our changes were made. We can look at something else about the game here too. Here, I know you've probably already seen the settings page, but let's get a good look at it. This is what oh my god! All right, here. This is what Solomon made. Solomon coded the settings page and designed it. And this was originally made so Julius's crappy school laptop could actually play the game, because it couldn't run it more than 15 frames originally. And this kind of helped. But I think soon after we made this, Julius got his desktop computer fixed because there's something wrong with it, and then everything was back to normal. So, but yeah, it's here now for people who want to change it. You might not have good computers, so we can change the volume. You can change the sound effects. You can enable VSync if you wanted to. can cap your frames, and it shows you over here. You can also change the quality level. Here, if we change it to ultra low, that's what it looks like. Here now it's on FPS is uncapped. Put it on very high, medium. You know, graphical changes helps people's computers. Here, and then some information on the bottom. We also have the help screen here, which I didn't show yet. Solomon made this too. He wanted to make something different that wasn't just a line of text on a screen like we've always done in the past. Well, I say we've, but I mean like most students in the class just kind of put everything on the same screen. Here we have a bit of variety, so you can click how to play, and it shows you how to play here. It gives you the objective. You can click on a direction to dash and stick on surfaces. You can see the different enemies in the game. You got the floaters, which are asleep but are woken up once you move near them, and they turn red. Got a description of the mine, which explodes once you touch it. Got the bullet turret that shoots bullets up/down. I think it's just down in this edition of the game. You can destroy it. And then the missile turret that shoots homing missiles in a fixed angle, and you can destroy that by dashing into it. Also, people who just joined, if you didn't see the documentation, you can go ahead and replay the stream a bit back. I think it was like 10 minutes ago. We're gonna pull up some more stuff in the future. Feel free to leave any questions you have in the chat. This is a very chill stream. But here, and then we have the credit screen. So I was the lead game dev, and then Julius and Solomon worked on it too. I wasn't really the leader. I guess I was, though. I just kind of kept the vision constant. I think I'm kind of like a creative director. Like, this is what we want the game to feel like and look like. But really, I didn't like tell people so much what to do and help them do it. I mean, they're both capable of probably making games on their own. And then once us three worked together, we made something like this. So, I mean, you know, we helped each other do what we needed to do. We were good at it. Here's the fruits of our labor, right? Here's another cool thing. You may have heard the sound effects. I made those from scratch. And not using Scratch as a tool, but there's another tool online. It's called JFXR. And I can't believe I neglected to show people last time. I keep forgetting I don't just have to present this. This is like an informative stream. So sound for colliding, killing enemies, touching mines, everything. You can, yeah, there's a sound effect for shooting bullets, getting hit by stuff, or the bullet colliding with something. It says like, boop. If you get hurt, the sound goes like, just like a groan. See, you heard it there. Ouch. I know there's a sound for the turret. If I could actually get to the level. Here, I'm gonna try again. Boing, boing. Boing. Here we go. 4. 5. What's going on? I see an error here. He's not seeing enough video to mean it as such. Viewers will experience buffering. Okay, there we go. We should be good now. Okay, here we go. And then the sound for the missiles. And colliding too. Okay. But this is what JFXR looks like. What the heck? I'll show you. So here's JFXR. This is what I use to make all the sounds. You can see everything that I've done in the past. I didn't quite make it from scratch, I guess, but these are handmade because I would deviate heavily from the noises. So you have all the different sound effect presets here. You can just make a random one. I think I did that for most of them, and you can change these. Ow! Oh my God! Sorry. You know what? Before that happens again. Oh my God. Here we go. This is a very loud noise. But you can change the attack, the sustain, punch. You can change how the waveform looks, sawtooth, square, tangent, white noise. You can click these. These are all different like chiptune noises for different things. Here we had an explosion. Sounds like a laser shooting. You click on it, it just randomizes all the settings with like the same kind of preset, like what should change and what shouldn't change, to make it sound like a different laser noise, but still have it sound like a laser. You can tell the pitch looks the same. It kind of just goes in a downward line. See, all that different stuff. That's kind of similar to what Moonwarden is. I think I made it a little bit less pitchier, and kind of longer drawn out. But this is how we made it right here, folks. That's my wallpaper. Planet Zoo. Blank white screen. For kids and projectors and stuff. There we go. So, sound effects, people. Ouch. I lost. I'm glad my sound was lower. Yeah, I'm glad it was too. That was really loud on my end, and I hope I didn't hurt anyone's ears. I did not expect that to happen. But hey, I mean, it woke you up, right? Right. That's the spirit. Man. And then here we go. I should edit a sound for the portal. I think we'll do that in the next version. Maybe we'll patch it soon. But that's how the sound was made. Again, any questions you may have, leave them in the chat. If not, that's fine too. Let's see what else. Yeah, Julius mentioned assets. We got most of our assets for the environment from the Unity Asset Store. They were free. So credit to the Asset Store. But yeah, I made this model here because, you know, with my experience with Planet Zoo, the controls to build stuff in that game were very similar to how you move stuff around in Unity, like dragging the axes out and stuff, like to the left and the right, up and down. So I made this using what I knew from there, and I made it look as quote-unquote realistic as possible. You know, rocks and plants growing between them, mushrooms, stacked logs, a tree. Just to give the player something to look at on the title screen. Get some movement so they're drawn to it. Like, whoa, that looks really cool. And they can click on whatever button they want on the bottom of the screen. The music's not ours. Solomon found it online. That's why this game isn't paid, or a paid product, not only for ECGC, but also because, you know, copyright infringement. We didn't want that to happen. We didn't want to get copyright striked and have to take the game down. Our first game gets copyright strike, that would be really bad. And we didn't have time to make a soundtrack with the 2-week time frame we had to make this game, so we didn't get a chance, so we had to find something online to use in game. Let's see what else I made the UI with Solomon. Julius was strictly in charge of level design, which is a task enough in of itself. I mean, that was like something he did every day. Just constant tweaking and stuff. It wasn't easy. Solomon and I had like the smaller roles, but still, I mean, they were all important, really. Everyone pitched in an equal amount of work, and I think we did a good job. So there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and play one more time, and then we're gonna show Unity in a minute. The Unity editor. We can show you the preview of the old level, what was supposed to be final, that ended up not being final. Ooh, just made it to the top. What sessions I got going on today, Julius? Which ones are you going to?
I'm going to the how to make real-time music-driven games at 5.
Oh, neato.
And the introduction to Unreal at 8.
Nice. You're gonna learn how to use it in Unreal?
Yes.
Cool, you're gonna make a video game. Should we remaster Moonwarden? The game that's been out for like a few weeks. You're already making a remaster.
HD remaster.
You know what? Yeah, 1080p remaster. You know what we could. I think the physics on Unreal is a lot better than Unity. The Unity's physics are very floaty sometimes. I saw for Unreal's physics, it's very snappy. I mean, it feels like something is falling in front of you and it has weight to it. Unity's a little floaty, but it works out for our game at least. Like 661 kills. 32,000. Here, you know what? Let's see how much time we got left. Uh, we have about 13 minutes before the stream ends. Let's go ahead and look at Unity. We've looked at the game long enough. We looked at it for 3 days in a row. Let's change it up a little bit. Get a good look at my screen while you can, people. YouTube screen. Okay, video no views looks. Here we go. Okay, stream's fine. Here. Ignore that stuff. That was for work. I'm actually gonna sign out. Nah, I can sign in to the Moonwarden. Okay. Should be fine. So you're about to see behind the curtain of what Moonwarden was. We got 5 viewers. I wish my webcam would work with this. Here, let's put a face. I'm gonna put a face behind the. Put a face behind the. Yeah, hey guys, it's me. Just so you can have a face behind the voice. It's very early in the morning here. I just got out of bed. I need to make my bed. And those are my brothers. Most of them. These? Over here. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, my hair. Alright. So. Here's Moonwarden. This is what Moonwarden looks like in Unity. We're not just here to show you like what the levels look like though. I mean, obviously we can. It wouldn't even be a bad idea to. But here, what I wanted to show you was I think it was PM level 1 was the test one. Yeah, here we go. This was Julius's original plans for the first level, and then the goal would be up here. I'm gonna get rid of the fog so you can see it better. Julius, you want to explain this? Explain what you've done here? Just really quick, and just to kind of like reflect on what you did before. Like.
Yeah, so this is the first iteration of level 1. After we had just decided we wanted to do a forest level. And so I started out. We didn't decide it was going to be really a closed arena. This was still this was the last phase of it after I closed it off a little bit more and made it like scaled it down by at least 5 times. So what I had here, we had a lot more platforms, had a lot of floating enemies. The idea for this one was it was going to be a cliff face, and you had to get to the top because back at the beginning of our journey, we didn't have it, so the player had to defeat a certain amount of enemies before moving on. It was just get to a certain position, which that led to gameplay that we weren't really proud of, and it wasn't really the direction we wanted to go. And so here I have, yes, I made a path out of all of these rocks that the player could jump to and would be able to get to the top. But as you see, it's really hard to. You wouldn't know where you were going, and with this version, it was hard to see, and it's, it just didn't feel, it just didn't have the right feeling to it. Although I did like, in some cases, the elevation of it. I think it looked really good with like the background and everything. But overall, yeah, this was about the first week, I believe. Was it? It was the first week or the
Yeah.
first couple of days.
It is like
This
the
was,
first week. This was.
yeah.
This was
It.
gonna be
I
it.
spent yeah, I spent quite an amount of time trying to do this until we eventually had to scrap it. And then because we were again on like a 2 week time frame, I was like, it's fine. And I had to quickly come up with 3 level ideas, which you saw throughout the game. Those are the final iterations. But I had to make those 3 in about one afternoon, or at least the draw. They made the drawings in about an afternoon. Um, and then got right to work on implementing those in the game, especially since um, when you're a level designer, your work is actually pretty important even during the development process, because everyone else sort of needs a stage to put their creations on and stuff, and having them have their own sort of their own, they had to work in their own sort of scenes in order, because the levels weren't done yet. So I had to quickly get the work done. And but luckily this level really gave me an idea of where to go, and it really narrowed down what we wanted. Because of this failure, I was able to see the exact direction that we didn't want to go, which really helped me steer and focus to what we wanted, which allowed me to create those 3 levels in such a quick turnaround time and get them up to the quality that they were.
Yeah. See, and then this is like even earlier. This is like when lighting was still out. This is when, oh yeah, this is when we were this is like that talk about like first couple of days. This is from the first couple of days. Solomon uh, juiced this up for the screenshots. If you're wondering where the screenshots come from, one of them's from here. This is kind of his like little photo booth here. But it honestly it really it reflects very well like what we were gonna do when the game first started out. So when we first made the game, this is what you saw. It was gonna be kind of longer like this, and then the only source of light in the level would kind of be the moon. And we wanted to make it so like you could see the moonlight on the back edges of each tree and stuff, and it would like move across the level with you in like a parallax kind of effect. We were gonna have it like that, but the game was too dark. We couldn't make a point light big enough to put light on everything without it being really, really bright in some areas and then kind of dim. Because a point light kind of makes light in like a spherical shape. See, you can see the range right here, and that's as much as it covers. And if I make it really big or really intense, it gets kind of like, I guess the color gets kind of distorted, if anything. If I make the range bigger, it'll cover more, but see how it's like really bright over here? That's not what we want. That's not what a moon looks like. And we couldn't do an area light because we can't bake light maps with this. It's simply too big, and none of us wanted to wait 2 hours to see if the light map would even come out good or not. So that was just out of the question. But that was how it was gonna be. And then the player would be here, and I think it still moves. Honestly, no. Yeah, see, like it's all set up for screenshots. I can't even move it. But anyway. And then this is when Solomon first made the models in SketchUp. This is what they kind of look like, you know, a classic. Here, can I lower this? Here we go. No, hold on, that's not what that does. Here, here, classic missile battery here. We got, this might be a little bright, I'm sorry about that, but neon, by the way. Classic missile battery on like a ball kind of turret looking thing, and then here's an actual ball turret with a barrel. Again, this is made completely by hand by Solomon in SketchUp. Even the barrel's hollow. So look, I'm a bullet. Blah. Okay, but yeah, this is very early stages of the game. What else do we got in here? We got the Rickroll scene that we put in. We got the win screen. We got the title screen. I'm not sure what else to show without revealing too much. I'm trying to avoid revealing any code and stuff like that. Like this is just want to show them like what we did beforehand. Here. We have about let's see. We actually made good time here. Better than last time here. How much time we got left? We got Awake Tech.
About 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Yeah, more like 3 minutes. I think we got until 9:50, or that's when we're supposed to end. I mean, because Jamin and Josh are going to be streaming Night of the Shadows. But any questions or suggestions, any comments you have, leave them now. We only got a couple minutes left. We made really good time with that. That was good. Alright. Moonwarden, ladies and gentlemen. This is really cool to hear about. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. Because I personally didn't just want to play through the game for an hour like that yesterday and just constantly play through it again. So I said, let's mix it up a little bit and kind of show, like, the people how we went about making this. So that's what I thought. I thought at first was like, okay, how about all the crazy mind mapping that our team did, right? And we scribbled on this a bunch. This is for a computer side, but yeah, this is what we did. That was a more important documentation. The other stuff is for the class. I really enjoyed hearing about how the game was created. Great teamwork. I agree. This project is like a dream come true to us because I knew we were kind of like everyone in the class was good at something, but we were kind of like always Mr. Cox. We were kind of always like the team captains. We were what the team was based around us. So when we got to work together, it really changed it up a bit. And it was honestly more challenging than working with anyone else because we had to well, I personally had to completely change how I worked with other people. I was originally like a team leader, and I'd actually help and guide and whatnot like a teacher. Um, this time around, I don't need to teach anyone how to do stuff, so we had a lot more possibilities. What are the developers' favorite features? That's a great question. I think my favorite feature is the Rickroll. I freaking love that thing.
My favorite feature, I would have to say, is it's between the help screen that Solomon developed, which is I think was really cool, and it showed. Yeah, obviously, have to be the help screen because it shows all of the enemy types we have. And you can scroll through and see them and see all the definitions and how they work. And I just thought it was super cool. Along with the loading screen, I like the loading screen that Solomon made. That was sort of a thing we put in there last minute because the game was really big and we kind of needed a loading screen.
Yeah, that came out really nice. I like the HUD. I worked really hard on not just because I made it, but I worked hard on it. It's really nice to see everything come together and work how it's supposed to be, kind of like a clock. Once you put it together, and all the gears are turning in the right places, everything has a place, and it all works together, and it all does something useful. In this case, it plays out as a good game. So just to see like how we actually got all the points to calculate correctly, got the power bar to tick down and get added to the power bar, how the points tick down, how the player moves, just seeing everything fall in place is really nice. So the HUD more than anything else, but I like that. And Rick. I love Rick. I love Rick, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, 9:51. It's time to go. Thanks for tuning in. I think we're doing one more stream today at 3 p.m. We're going to be doing this again for people that didn't see it live. I think I'm only going to post one of them online, though, because I think we're going to do about the same thing. But tune in if you want to, or share the link with your friends. That would be nice too. But yeah, upcoming next is Night of the Shadows. Josh and Jamin are gonna be showing the game again. So if you haven't seen that yet, tune in. And yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. See ya. Say bye, Julius.
Bye.
Ah.
Bye. Have a nice time.